But anyway, how are you guys doing? Keisha, I know you were saying you were a little tired today. You've been super busy.
Yes, I've been doing like all the content stuff, like planning and filming and trying to read, but not reading a lot. So,
We've been
yeah.
trying to read. That's the point.
Yeah.
Anyway, hi
Yes.
everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming. I love these reading wrap up live shows. They're probably like my new favorite thing. A lot of people like live like the reading sprints. I like this because you really get to like talk about the books that you read
Yeah.
and it's so fun. So thank you guys
Absolutely.
so much for being here. Gabby, do you want to start like introduce yourself, your channel, what you like to read?
Yeah. So I am Gabby. My channel on both Instagram and YouTube is Gabbing About Books. I read a lot of different genres, but I mainly read thrillers and mysteries. I've recently been getting back into romance and I started reading graphic novels. So that was something new in the month of August and September that I started reading.
Fun.
Yep.
All right. What about you, Keisha?
Hello, my name is Keisha. I'm from the channel A Book Like You. I feel like I dabble in a little bit of every genre, but I mostly read thrillers and spooky middle grade books. But every now and then you might see me read a romance, very rarely fantasy, but yeah.
Fun. Yeah. I feel like you're this spooky middle grade queen. And mentioning spooky middle grade. So the three of us are hosting a readathon. This
Woo!
is Keisha actually started this readathon with like a couple of her other friends. Do you want to kind of like intro into that? Keisha, tell us about it.
Yeah, sure. So back in May, I actually started Bookathon, which is a spooky middle grade readathon. And I started that with my friend Ashley from the Bent Biblios podcast. And we had such a fun time. And it was so cool to connect with all these different people that were interested in spooky middle grade. And so I knew I wanted to do it again in the fall. And I know that there's lots of readathons going on in October, but I just had to do it again. And I feel so blessed to have such lovely friends because Gwen and Gabby are hosting with me. So we're bringing it back and we're going to be hosting it. It's going to be the 10th through the 16th of October. So lots of fun things there.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's not a genre. I mean, I have read a few in the past. I do love spooky middle grade graphic novels. That's where like my comfort zone lies. So you've
Yeah.
definitely made me step outside my comfort zone, but I love it, because you're
Yeah.
so passionate about it. That's what Gabby and I were always talking about is like you just have this fire in you about it. And I love that. So I'm so
Yeah.
excited to be co hosting. So both of their channels, their Instagrams, and all of the information about the readathon are linked in the description box. So if you want to know like where you can find them, definitely subscribe to them because their content is amazing. They're super sweet people and they're friends of mine. So it would mean the world to me if you hit their subscribe buttons. But hopefully if
Aw.
you're here, you're already subscribed to me. So like anyway, let's see who's here. I know Jessie said she was going to be here. So
Hi,
let me
Jess.
Yay.
yeah, excited Jessie's here. She's always a great supporter of my channel. Danielle is here. She has her notebook ready, which I thought was kind of funny because we're doing that game. I was like, that's so fun.
I love it.
She's gonna get a notebook. This is gonna be fun.
I love it.
Hey Jordan from the Atlanta airport. Oh my goodness. I think it was a sign, Jordan, because they were like, her friend's doing a live show. Let's deboard. Oh, hey Vanessa. Everybody is so nice.
Yay.
Let's see. Yvette and Marlene. Oh, also, we all have like announcement videos and it's on our Instagrams. So you can find all of the information everywhere about Bookathon.
Yeah.
Hey, Lena. Yes. Even Jesse said, I'm going to give it a shot. So I was like,
I'm
yay. That
so
makes me so
excited.
excited. Hey, Ashley. Hey, Kelly. All right. Anyway, so we obviously talk pretty much every single day, and we each had something like crazy happen this month that we didn't really read a lot. And of course, that's like our own personal life. So we're not going into that here, but I hope that moving forward next month that we all read a lot. That's what I'm hoping for us.
Praying
Yeah,
that I can read all these
crossing
books.
my fingers.
Because I feel like October is one of those months where you just want to read all of the things. And it's like There's not enough time.
Absolutely.
So how many books did you guys actually manage to read this month, despite all the crazy things happening in your lives?
I ended up reading a total of 6 books this month, which I didn't think was great. Like, at first, I couldn't remember how many I even read. Like, I felt like I didn't read anything, and then once I look back, I'm like, honestly, it wasn't that bad of a reading month. Do you want me to say,
Yeah,
like, what
sure.
was my favorite? Okay,
Yeah.
so my favorite was The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This one I was, like, really nervous about because some people there's mixed reviews. But I actually wasn't able to really guess the plot twist, and I
Yeah,
actually
me
really
either.
enjoyed it. I gave it a 4
Yeah.
on Goodreads, I believe. But I still really enjoyed it. And then my least favorite was
Drum
All
roll.
Hidden
Oh,
Gifts
okay.
by Caroline O'Donoghue. This is a YA, like, paranormal fantasy, it's said to be, but it's trash. So I
I love
Just
it.
throw it all out there.
yeah, I apologize
Trash.
if you read this and you enjoy it. I think it's part of a series, but I don't know why it would be a series. But it's not.
First of all, I love the cover. And I
That's what
also love, is it the chapter headers that are like tarot cards or something like that?
kind of like, well, the
Or
chapters,
they
like,
have some in them or
but they have
something?
like pictures, like randomly throughout the book they'll have like whatever
Yeah,
tarot
I
cards are gonna be
loved
in,
that.
which I thought was cute, but then like
The
the
story, though.
story just like ruined it.
Aesthetic on point, story trash.
Yeah.
Yes, and I agree with you because I checked that out from the library. I don't know if it was like last year or the year before. DNF'd it
Yeah.
because I just could not.
I picked it up for the readathon. It was we'll talk about that later. But I was like drawn to it, and then I was like, I
No.
don't
Yeah.
know. This isn't, and I pushed to finish it because it was my first book of September too. So
Oh,
I
that's
really
always
didn't
hard.
want to DNF it. So I just
Yeah.
pushed through, and I was like, not good.
Did you read
Not
that one,
good.
Keisha?
No, I did not read that
Okay.
one. So, and I'm not going to,
Yeah.
especially not after what Gabby said. I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? She told me what she didn't like, and I was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What about you? How was your reading month, Keisha?
Okay, so this is like super weird, but like I also have read 6 books. I'm in the
Oh.
middle of another, but 6 books. So yay. Honestly, if it wasn't for like graphic novels in middle grade though, I wouldn't have gotten through 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 6. And my favorite book, which I feel like it's a book in a series, so it's hard to talk about it. And I'm probably going to talk about it twice tonight, just so you know. But my favorite that I
I
read
already know what you're gonna hold up. I
is Empty Smiles. Ah, are you scared of clowns? Because there's a creepy clown on the cover. This is the 4th and final book in the Small Spaces series. It's a middle grade spooky series by Catherine Arden. Some of you guys may be more familiar with Catherine Arden from her adult series, The Bear and the Nightingale. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but she does write spooky middle grade. And in my opinion, this is like her prized possession or her prized work right here. So if you haven't read this series, you should. But each book in the series is set in a different season. And this one was set in the summer. So this is like how it wrapped up. The first book is set in the fall. But I can't really tell you a ton about it, except that it just follows this group of kids and a bunch of creepy characters in different books and a smiling man that is out to get them. I'll talk a little bit more about it later. But this was like the best way to wrap up the series. And I flew through this in one sitting. So absolute favorite. And then I wonder what my least favorite book is going to be. It's this one.
That hurts my heart so much, you guys. But if you guys will remember, we were doing reading sprints together, and there was a tier, guys. There was a tier.
There was a tier.
A tier.
But yeah, The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson wasn't it for me. And I think I actually rated it 3 stars, but I'm dropping it back down to 2. Sorry. Because even though I had a
How do
tier,
you people off of this show?
so in case y'all couldn't tell, this is one of Gwen's favorites. I just could not get into it. And I think maybe it just wasn't the right time for me. But I think it was that. And then it was pitched in a weird way. Like I expected something different. I expected it to be a little bit different than what it was. But ultimately, it's a story about a boy and his uncle. And I don't know how to explain it. Like his uncle is like an eccentric. He tells ghost stories and is like really fascinated with like
Urban legends.
yeah. Thank you. Because I was struggling, clearly filling my sentences for me. But yeah, and so, but it follows kind of a more hard-hitting story than what you would expect. But I
Mhm.
was bored for most of the story. I did get a tear at the end, but it's 2 stars. It was okay.
I think
So,
the thing that turns people off to it is the writing. Just like the writing
yeah.
itself, it feels very like literary. I don't
Yeah.
know how I was able to look past it at a time. I think it also I get really emotionally attached to books
Yeah.
for certain reasons. And for that one, like my uncle had just died, and it's about a son, like a nephew and his uncle. And so I was like already emotional just from that. So I think that's why it hit me as hard as it did. But
Yeah.
yeah, I do love that book though. But
Sorry.
anyway, I'll forgive you. Okay, so I ended up reading 13 books, but at least 4 of those were graphic novels. One was a horror novella. I didn't have any 5 stars though, but I did have a few 4 stars. So Notes on an Execution got 4 stars from me. A lot of people are going to be shocked because everybody else I feel like has rated it 5 stars. Under Her Care by Lucinda Berry got 4 stars. And then the Thursday Murder Club also got, these are the novels that I gave 4 stars, but I did give some graphic novels 4 stars as well. For my least favorite, I kind of have 2 for this as well. So I read this one, and this one was, there was like, I feel like it's definitely for some readers. I just wasn't that reader. I thought
Mhm.
the beginning part was like interesting, but then I was just kind of like, okay, you did the deed. Like, can it be over now? Like,
Yeah.
I just didn't get it. So I watched the movie as well. And I know a lot of people didn't like both, but I liked the movie a little bit more because it visually played out. It made a little bit more sense to me. But I think the reason why I didn't like it, it's about this family that lives on a farm in 1922. And the wife has like 100 acres of land, and he has 80 acres of land, and he's fine staying on the farm doing the country lifestyle, but she wants to sell and move to a big city. So him and his son take care of business so that doesn't happen, and they can stay on the farm. And then after that, it just kind of goes in this really weird direction. But yeah, I think there were not enough like female characters in here, and it felt like very like guys book, and also like set in the 20s but written in 2010. It really bothered me, the language that he chose to use. There's ways around language and better word choices that you can use to still get across like what you're saying. Like, we know that the 1920s was trash. Like, we don't need to be reminded of that. And yeah, it just kind of really rubbed me the wrong way. And then sorry, Keisha. I also strongly disliked The Halloween Tree by Ray Bradbury. And the reason why is because I don't like his writing. It's very like old. This was written in 1970 something, 1972. So like way before I was born. And I just didn't like it. And it also felt fantastical. And I don't like fantasy stories. And it just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
But I did love the illustrations. So there's that. But I gave it 1 star.
I mean, nobody who's to say that I'm gonna like it? I'm just really excited for it. But then you were like, "Oh, it was 1 star." And I'm like, "Oh, no."
I know. But Keisha and I have very different reading tastes. Like, she'll love a book, and I'm like, yeah, I DNF'd that book.
Not every book, though.
Yeah, not
Right.
every book, because we definitely have some in common. But
Mhm.
anyway, so that was our reading months in a nutshell. Did you guys participate in any readathons or challenges this month? And like, do you want to tell us like who hosted it? Maybe what you read for it? What was the highlight? Something like that.
Perks
Her
of
dog
living
wanted to
with
say
other people.
something.
No, it was Zach. He's sitting
Oh,
here
okay.
doing videos
Oh,
on
called him a
Hi,
dog.
Zach.
So I participated in one readathon. It was the Upside Down readathon, and that was hosted by Liv from Liv's Library, Naomi from Naomi's Library, Lauren from Lauren Love Reads, Jordan from Sorry Book Solid, and Caitlin from Pride and Paperback, and Kendall from Bookoria. She was the mastermind of it. I knew there were 6 of them. So for that, I read All Our Hidden Gifts. This was to cover the prompt, read a book with lights on the cover. So this was horrible. And then I read The guest list, I actually used this to cover 2 prompts, which was read a psychological thriller, and there was one more that I read it for.
Multiple POVs.
Multiple points of view, yes. And I really liked this one. I gave that a 4-star. And then I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I really actually liked this one. It took me to like the end to really get into it, but I really want to pick up Hawthorne Legacy. So I read this one for the prompt, read a book with like a game or challenge in it. And then I didn't get to the last prompt, which was the buddy read. I was going to read One Word Kill, but I didn't even get to it. So those were the books that I read during that readathon. I thought that readathon was so fun. Like there was so many people that participated in it. It was just great. And besides the first book, like I enjoyed the Inheritance Games and the guest list. So it was a successful readathon for me.
I'm with Jessie on this though, that it felt so long ago.
Yeah.
Like it felt like it was last month.
That's why I felt like this month. I was saying to, I might have said it to both of you. I was like, I feel like I didn't read anything in the month of September. And then I was like, was the Upside Down Readathon like in September? But then I did. And like that was the only time I felt like I even read. But I do agree. It feels like forever ago.
Yeah.
After it ended, poor Hope, after it ended, she went to a reading slump. Aww.
It's easy to do that after you read so much in a week. So.
Yeah. Yeah. And you
I
get
think
like
that's
so
kind of what
excited
happened.
about the readathon or whatever like that. What about you, Keisha? I know you did the Upside Read It, you know,
Yes,
too.
same. That's the only one I think I participated in. If I'm forgetting another one, sorry. I don't think I did though. So I think I was just focused on planning Bookathon. So yeah, I also participated in that readathon. I think the most fun thing for me was the photo prompts. Like I came alive with those prompts. I don't know where that inspiration came from, but like so much fun. And I ended up reading, I didn't finish all of my books for, let me grab one. Hold on. I have a book that I didn't finish that I didn't grab, and I'll grab it to mention it. Okay. Good thing it was right here. So, Cosmology of Monsters by Sean Hamill. I was doing this one for read a book with multiple points of view. And I got I still have my bookmark in there. I got halfway through and I'm really bummed that I didn't finish it because I was really enjoying it. I also was reading it. Okay, see, there's the thing I was forgetting because I was also reading this not for a readathon, but for Jan Agaton was doing this for her Full Moon Book Club. But then she ended up having to cancel her live show. So I was reading it for both. So I didn't finish it because I felt stressed to finish things, but then also she gave it 1 star and I got scared, but I was enjoying it. So I don't know. I feel like I want to continue to try it because it's just really interesting. It's like about this boy and his family, and they're all like dealing with monsters or monster in their own way. Some of them acknowledge the monster, some of them don't. And our main character, Noah, he lets the monster in. And so I thought it was going really good, but I only got halfway through and I don't know when I'm going to finish it. I also read the Saturday Night Ghost Club, which was Lauren's buddy read pick for Team Steve. If y'all are not Team Steve, we can't be friends. I'm just kidding. But I do love him. So didn't like that one. Gave it 2 stars. It was okay. Empty Smiles was my favorite. Gave it 5 stars. I read that for like the one with the game. And then Good Night Beautiful by Amy Malloy, I read for my psychological thriller, and I really ended up enjoying this one, and I gave it 4 stars. So,
yay, that's exciting. Well, you definitely pitched me on Cosmology of Monsters, though, even though you didn't finish it. So much so that I like immediately ordered it, and then she's like,
you
well,
did.
I haven't finished it yet. I'm like, oh. So what if it's terrible in the end? But I'm going to read it. I'm hoping to read it in October. Are you going to roll yours over to October, or do you already have too much going on?
I have too much going on. I don't know when I'll get back to it, but I do recommend, like, if you can listen to the audiobook. I think the audiobook was amazing because the monster sounds and like there's like eerie parts of it.
Ooh.
So I highly recommend listening to the audiobook also.
Oh, okay. I'm definitely going to try to do that then. That sounds exciting. I am going to try to read it in October. Isn't that going to be funny that I finish it before you finish it and I got the recommendation from you?
Yeah.
But who knows? Maybe I'll only get halfway to who knows. So I also participated in the Upside Down Readathon, and I agree with what both they said. Like, the reading was great. I have a whole vlog. I did daily vlogging because I'm crazy like that. I loved the photo prompts. I actually was not excited about the photo prompts as much because I don't think I'm very creative. But Keisha was like, no, girl, you're doing this. You're going to do it. And she like hyped me up. So
And you did a great job.
And it ended up working out. Thanks. So it ended up being like a lot more fun with the photo prompt. I mean, I was excited for the readathon, but the photos ended up being like probably my favorite part, and seeing what other people were posting as well. And I think that was also another fun part about my vlogs is I took other people's Instagram pictures and put them in my vlogs to like show off other people's like photos and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. But I'm going to be lazy and not list the books that I read. So y'all just have to go watch my vlogs. I also participated in the Losers Club Readathon. Basically that whole week I had no internet access, no phone access, no social media access. So I was kind of just left to my own devices, and I wasn't enjoying the buddy read. But I did watch the movie as well. And that's all I really did. You know, I mean, bare minimum. And I did kind of put out a vlog about it, but it was really just me crying for like 20 minutes. So like, don't watch it, but I explain more in that video if you happen to have watched it. But that was hosted by Beth, Ashley, and Elizabeth. And yeah, I feel bad I couldn't participate more, but you know, stuff happens. So I asked them this before, and they were like, how can I pick just one? What's your favorite video you posted this month?
Mine would have to be, I did a weekly vlog for the Upside Down Readathon. That was going to have to be my favorite video because I think that, besides the Bookathon announcement, were the only videos I got out in September. Like this month was crazy for me. So not a lot of content posted, but I had fun filming my vlog because I'm not used to doing the vlogs, and it was a whole week long. So I think that was my favorite that I did. So go watch it. I'm just kidding.
No, seriously, go watch it. What about you, Keisha? What was your favorite or your multiple favorites?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I feel like I need to narrow it down. There were so many that I liked. Like obviously I enjoyed my Upside Down Readathon vlog too. The first one more than the second one because I did more in the first one. The second one I got kind of slumpy and lazy, but I did enjoy that. But I think honestly, like other than announcing Bookathon, which is exciting in and of itself, I really enjoyed putting out my spooky middle grade recommendations video because that's just kind of like my thing. And so I always love sharing new spooky middle grade books, and they always do really well. So I've noticed that like middle grade books on my channel do well. I wonder why. But so yeah, that's probably my favorite overall.
Yeah, I loved my Bookathon announcement because like anytime you host something or you do something with your friends, you're going to be excited about it. So obviously that one, even though the day that my video posted, I wasn't able to see it post or comment, or so it kind of had a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, but I'm excited moving forward. I also really liked my emotional book recommendations because my friend Jordan from Sorry Book Solid did one, and I think she did like 25 emotional book recommendations. And as I was watching her video, I was like, yep, I would have that on my list too. Yep, I would have that on my list too. But then I was like, I still have like a lot of other recommendations. So I mentioned some of the ones that she talked about that were also emotional for me, but then I did a whole new set of emotional book recommendations. So if you're looking for a good cry, go over to Sorry Book Solid, watch her video, and then come over to mine and watch mine, and it could just be a big cry fest. I also particularly I didn't like doing it as much, but a lot of you guys liked the crumble cookie review that I did with my husband because he was just like authentically himself, and what's not to love, you know? I mean, so I did love that part in particular. So moving on from that, we're going to play a little game. It's called, and since it's fall, I decided to go with like a leaf, you know, theme. And so the game is called leave it off your TBR. Or, basically we're going to talk about a book. It could be a book that we loved or a book that we didn't love. And we're going to give you reasons why we think you shouldn't pick it up and read it. But it also works the other way. Like if you love the things that we're saying we didn't love about it, or maybe you wouldn't love about it and you love those things, it's kind of like a reverse book recommendation just for the leave it off of your TBR. So we each have 3 rounds. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'll get my handy dandy notebook like Steve from Blue's Clues.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to start with Goodnight Beautiful by Amy Malloy. So I'm going to say leave it off your TBR if you don't like to be confused.
That's a good one.
Leave it off your TBR if you don't like multiple twists. And leave it off your TBR if... Wait, I can't read my handwriting. This isn't scripted. Leave it off your TBR if you don't trust me that you should go in blind.
Nice. I like it. So obviously she's saying if you don't like those things, leave it off of your TBR. But of course, if you love those things, definitely pick it up.
Yeah.
All right, Abby, you're next.
Okay, so my first one is My Best Friend's Exorcism. I would say leave it off your TBR if you don't like satanic rituals, really. Or leave it off your TBR if you're not a fan of YA horror books. But pick this up if you enjoy strong friendship relationships.
Nice. Okay, my first one is Dead Flip, which I did read for the Upside Down Readathon, and this was a very good book to read for that Readathon. It definitely had those 80s Stranger Things vibes. But anyway, so leave this off of your TBR if you don't like or enjoy or read YA, because it is a YA story. Leave it off of your TBR if you need things to be believable to enjoy it, or enjoy the story. So leave it off of your TBR. All right, Keisha, you're up.
Okay, let's see. Seance Tea Party is next. I just read this one yesterday. So leave it off your TBR if you don't like graphic novels. Leave it off your TBR if you don't like stories about holding on to magic even as you grow older. And leave it off your TBR if you don't like friendship stories or stories about finding friendships or being comfortable with who you are. So
love that.
I loved this one. So good.
All right. This is one you've seen before. This is all our hitting just I'm proud of you. Leave it off your TBR in general, but leave it off your TBR if you don't like discrimination towards the LGBTQ community, because this has that in there. And I think they were just trying to highlight what's wrong about that, but I didn't like the way it was written. Leave it off your TBR if you're not into tarot card readings or anything like that. And I just wouldn't add it on your TBR at all.
Noted.
It literally is about a girl who does tarot card readings. Her best friend or her ex-best friend goes missing, and then I thought it was going to be about this girl's reappearance and what happened to her, and they just don't talk about it. It just doesn't happen. I'm like, okay, so that's not the synopsis of the story. I was misled, but that's that.
Leaving it off my TBR.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Mine for the next one is Notes on an Execution. Leave it off of your TBR if you don't enjoy multiple POVs, because this has several. Leave it off of your TBR if you don't like character-driven stories, and leave it off of your TBR if you like serial killer stories to focus on the killer, because this does not focus on the killer as much as the other people in the story. So I liked it, guys. So no worries there. All right, Keisha, last
Okay,
round.
last one. And I'm going to tell a little bit about this one if that's okay, because
Oh, yeah.
I know it's a leave it off and I'll tell about it a little bit then, but I haven't brought this one up yet. So it's a spooky middle grade.
Oh, I love it. I love the cover.
I know.
I
I
love
would read
the guy's glasses are creepy, but this is Watch Hollow by Gregory Fanero. And this is kind of like a middle grade spooky fantasy novel about these two kids, brother and sister. Their dad is a clockmaker. They're a very poor family, and their dad gets like commissioned to come to this spooky house called Blackford House to fix this clock in the wall that kind of controls the electricity in the whole house. And I'm not going to say anything else because I'm going to tell you why you should leave it off your TBR, but not really. No. Okay, so leave it off your TBR if you don't like talking animals. There are clock animals in this one. Leave it off your TBR, obviously, if you don't like middle grade spooky books, fantasy, stuff like that. It's not heavy fantasy, and leave it off your TBR if you don't like the Spiderwick Chronicles, because this gave me Spiderwick Chronicles vibes. So I really like it.
Nice. I just want to answer Jessie's question real quick. She's like, how many books did I keep a character list for this month? 0. I didn't keep, well, that's not true. I lied. I didn't actually write it down, but I annotated this book this month because it's for my podcast. So I have all the tabs. But why are y'all laughing?
I can't report.
I didn't get it.
The comments.
Oh, weird.
I was trying to report it, but I can't.
Interesting.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, laugh. It's okay. We weren't laughing at you, Gwen.
No, sorry.
Like, what
I
did
just
I do?
glanced down. I was like, what is that?
Michael Scott.
Yeah. Okay, so I didn't keep a character list, but I did heavily annotate it and underlined things and stuff like that. So, but no character lists. But what I did for notes on an execution, since it had, I don't know if I left them in there. Yeah, I did. Is I just put little tabs up here for the different POVs, and then I wrote little things on it. So I didn't really keep a traditional Gwen character list this month. So there's that. It's okay, Jessie. Okay, so who's next for the leave it off? Is it my turn or is it Gabby's turn? I lost track because of that.
Is it mine? I think it's
Okay.
mine. Okay. So mine is Ghosts, and I am awful at pronouncing author's name, so I'm gonna just say it's by Raina.
Yeah, Raina Telgemeier.
There you go. That's who it's by, and
she's one of my favorites.
I actually really love this one, but I would say leave it off of your TBR if, again, you don't like graphic novels, because it is a graphic novel. Leave it off of your TBR if you don't enjoy reading about ghosts or the afterlife. And then leave it off of your TBR if you have a hard time reading about cystic fibrosis, because one of the main characters in here does have that, and I know sometimes that's a touchy subject for some people. So.
Yes, that's a good one.
It was very cute.
Yes, it was. Okay, my last one is leave it off of your TBR, because just leave it off your TBR, like Gabby was saying earlier for her book. I say leave it off of your TBR because it lacks female characters, and it also leave it off of your TBR. It has rats and animal death, and the word choices are problematic. So yeah, leave it off of your TBR. Even though it was short, I was so excited. I was like, it's short. I'm going to get through it so fast. But like literally look at all those words.
Yeah.
Like there's so many words. It's like a full length novel, and it's just a ruse.
I honestly don't know. I haven't seen anybody say that they like that book anyway. So it's like,
yeah. So leave it off of your TBR. So that was kind of like my punny little game for fall, but obviously you could see we actually did like some of those books. But now I thought we should just like now that we're like in fall and we all three of us like love fall, so we're going to give you some fall recommendations, and I thought we would do it in categories. So we're going to give you 3 fall book recommendations, and then we're going to do like maybe one movie or TV show that we recommend or that maybe we're planning to watch this season. So the first round is a witchy book. Witchy books. I'll go first.
Okay.
So I actually chose all graphic novels because I'm trying to like push graphic novels onto my friends that don't read graphic novels because they're literally so fun. It's like reading a movie
Yeah.
because it does. A lot of times people don't like over description in books. And I don't find that there's that over description in graphic novels because you're seeing everything. So it doesn't have to describe it to you. You're just seeing it. And it's much more focused on like the plot and the characters and not all of that like other stuff. So for my witchy one that I read this month, Witches of Brooklyn. I don't know how to say this author's name, but I did read the first and second books and I absolutely loved it. I rated both of the first volume and the second volume 4 stars. It's about this girl on the front that gets dropped off at her grandmother's house, or is it her grandmother or her aunt? I think it's her grandmother's house. And because it's her mom's sister. So she gets dropped off at her grandmother's house in the middle of the night because her mom died, but they don't really focus on that. It's just her and her grandma. So this is like her grandmother. And I think this is like her partner, but I'm not really sure, but that's how I read it. And I'm just going to go with it. But they're such like fashionistas too. And she's just like realizing that they're witches and then realizing that she's a witch. And it's so wholesome. And the artwork is so, guys, you got to pick it up. Spooky season is the perfect time for witchy graphic novels.
I second that. I've read that one and I liked it too. Not as much as Gwen, but it was like a really good book. It was like a 4-star for me.
I'll have to add that to my list. I haven't read that one.
Yeah.
I'll go next. So mine is The Okay Witch by Emma Steinkelner. Also a graphic novel, but this one was really cute. It's about a girl who basically finds out that she has that she's a witch and she's trying to figure out how to what the word I'm trying to think of. She's trying to figure out how to incorporate that in her life or how she feels about it and what she should do. So this one was really cute. Again, like Gwen said in hers, that's kind of a dull picture, but graphics are just so good. And I really enjoyed this one. So
I think both of these, because I actually read the first 2 volumes in that series this month as well. And the representation in these is amazing. There's all different colors, sizes, LGBT representation, like everything. It's so awesome to see that. I loved that. So I agree with that recommendation.
I love that you both did like spooky middle grade graphic novels because I'm doing my job over here. So The Okay Witch I liked better than Witches in Brooklyn, which Gwen and I have had this conversation, but I love them both. But The Okay Witch is so good. So I agree with that. And I second both of those recommendations. I'm going to go off y'all probably expect me to do middle grade, but I'm not. I'm going YA. So
there
I feel
you go.
this is a good transitional book into fall which I mean, I know we're all ready for full on fall, but this is a witchy book. This is The Wicked Deep by Shea Earnshaw, and it's set at a eerie coastal town. And it's about there's a legend of 3 sisters who were drowned because they were supposedly witches, and now these sisters come back and they haunt this town, and their ghost will inhabit 3 girls when they come back to haunt the town, and so everybody's always trying to guess which girls it is. They also drown the boys in the town. And all of the tourists actually come to this town and try to figure out who the sisters are inhabiting this time around. So that's kind of the legend and the lore behind the story. This was my first Shea Earnshaw book that I ever read, and I think it's her debut novel as well. And this is kind of what got me into reading all of her books. I'm currently reading one of her books, and so after that, I will have read all of her books. And I really think she does atmosphere well. So if you're looking for a witchy book, but also a really atmospheric read. I think this is like her best book that she's written to date. So, The Wicked Deep.
We love that. I love witchy books. I did a witchy reading vlog last year. I'm planning to do one this year. There's something about it that's just so fun, I think. Okay, so the next category is a paranormal book. Again, I guess I'll go first. And I think it's hilarious because, like Keisha said, she just read this the other day. So it kind of wasn't fair. The Seance Tea Party. This isn't necessarily like fall vibes. It does have fall in it, but it didn't feel like totally autumnal to me. But I just loved the message about like friendship. She basically like makes friends with a ghost girl, and the ghost girl obviously never ages, but like she does. And it just, I don't know, it's like a life lesson book. You know what I'm saying? And the art is so cute. Look at it. So, and it is like a middle grade graphic novel, right? And so it's so cute, you guys. I know, Lena, I saw you in there saying you will not read a graphic novel.
Yes,
That's fine.
you
You're
will.
missing
One of these
out.
days.
You're missing out until you decide to. You're missing out.
It's not like you're going to waste that much of your life. It's like 30 minutes to an hour. So you could just read one, right?
Yeah, exactly. One. I'm just asking for one. That's like with my friends that don't read middle grade for Bookathon. I was like, you don't have to go all out. I'm not expecting you to go crazy. I'm asking you to read one spooky middle grade.
Even the buddy read. Read the
Yeah,
buddy read.
exactly. I will be so happy. But yeah, I had to talk about this one. I love the cover. The art's amazing. And it says growing up is terrible. Like we've all been there,
Yeah. Okay. Is this the fall vibes, right?
No, paranormal.
Paranormal. Okay. So for paranormal, I don't have the book on me because I lent it to a friend, but I would say Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. That one just really spooked me out. Like I felt like I was reading a book that gave like what is the movie? Oh my god, I can't think of it right now. Insidious. It gave me Insidious vibes while reading it, but that one was spooky. So it's basically about a family who moves into this home. There you go. There's the book. But like this whole thing happens with her dad and the writing and the letters. It's just so good. I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I liked how it was kind of like you got pieces of the story or the book that he wrote along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good one. All right, what about you? Paranormal vibes. Paranormal book, Keisha.
Okay, I was so scared that Gwen and Gabby were both going to pick this book. So Gwen was like, I didn't pick the book. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I was just expecting Gabby to do it. So I was going to hold it up at the same time, but she didn't. So, but we all three love it. So, drum roll.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dead
dun.
Romantics.
Yay!
I love. I don't know why my darkness keeps going weird. Okay.
Oh, it's the
fun.
ghost. It's the ghost.
It's the ghost. Don't say that. My house is not haunted. But The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I don't know.
It is really.
There we
It
go.
doesn't like that.
This is a kind of paranormal romance, and the three of us have all read this book, and it is the cutest, quirkiest, funnest, sweetest, just all around great book. Like if you have not read this, you need to add it to your fall TBR. I do not read a lot of romances. I'm gonna put the book down because it's like way too dark. But I don't read a lot of romances, but I loved that book so stinking much. It's about this girl named Florence Day, and she is a ghostwriter, and she like is ghostwriting for this woman named I think Ann Nichols, and she ends up like nobody knows that she's a ghostwriter, and she gets this new editor, and you know, she tells him she doesn't believe in love anymore because she has had this experience where she just like does not believe in love. And so, sorry, the lighting is really weird. So she ends up telling him that, and he's like, no, you still have to write love stories, whatever. So then her family owns this funeral home, and her dad ends up passing away. And something about her and her dad's relationship is that they both are able to see ghosts. And so she goes back home to her dad's funeral, and she ends up seeing a ghost of someone that she doesn't expect. And like romance ensues from there, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And there were things about this book that were predictable, but there were also things about this book that were not predictable that I was like, oh my gosh, I love, like, this is one of my new favorite books of all time. So if you haven't read The Dead Romantics, please pick it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love that one so much because it's kind of got like interesting family dynamics, like the sisters, and then like also they own like a funeral business. Like that's such an interesting thing. I've never read another book where that happens. And then also, so she's in New York City when she's doing like the writing and the editing and all that. And then when she goes home, it's like a small town, so it also has those like small town vibes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's so, and I know the cover screams like spring and summer, y'all, but it could be read anytime, and it's one of those great transitional books, I think.
Yeah. And it's
For
good
sure.
too for fall because like at one point she's in a cemetery, so you kind of get those like. I loved that one. I loved that one.
Yeah, the
Did
more
we
people
all
we
give
can,
it? Did we all give it 5 stars?
I gave it 5
I gave it
stars.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
You're
checking.
like, yes. Just checking. I'm about to boot people. Okay. And the last category is like fall vibes, atmosphere, that sort of thing. So, keeping with my graphic novel theme I have going on, M is for Monster, another graphic novel. This is about, it's really like a sister story. So they're both scientists, but something ends up happening where one of the sisters dies and then the other sister tries to reanimate her. So it's like a Frankenstein retelling. Like, how more perfect for spooky season, Halloween season, the fall season. I loved it. It also has paranormal vibes in it as well, because her sister ends up like not reanimating her, but like a monster, but and she goes by M. But then the real sister is like in a mirror, and she's like trying to help her like understand how to be her, but it ends up being like much more. Really liked the art in this one. It has like a kind of like a tealish color and stuff like that. But I just really loved the story. And again, you can read it very quickly because it's a graphic novel and it's perfect for the fall.
Gwen, I like how we didn't discuss what books we were going to be recommending, and I also have another graphic novel.
I love it.
But
I love y'all.
I just saw in the comments somebody said that they couldn't get in this one, but I'm recommending Pumpkinheads.
Yes.
This one was one of, I think, the first graphic novels that I picked up, and I really enjoyed it. It's about two, I believe they're in high school, or they're about to go off to college, and they worked every summer, oh my gosh, every fall at a pumpkin patch, and it's like their last year working together, and it's just really good. It talks about so many things like hay rides and pumpkin patches and corn mazes and just a lot of pumpkin-y things, and it was so good and it was so cute. I really enjoyed this one. And this one
Show
too.
the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, the map's really cool. I
I
love the
wanna go
representation.
there.
I mean, look at that. It's like the best pumpkin patch. It has the maze, but it talks about like all of the food. They're employees of the pumpkin patch. So you get to know like kind of the behind the scenes of the
Yeah.
pumpkin
Yeah.
patch a little bit. I love that one. That's
I love
such a
it too.
classic.
I also was, like, hungry while reading it because you said, like, it talks about the food that they have, and, like, they talk about, like, a pumpkin bomb, I think it was called, or
Yeah.
Whatever that
something.
thing on the stick was.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
and I
Yeah.
was like,
amazing.
"I want that." Like, we're gonna get one.
Yeah.
All right. What's yours, Keisha?
Okay, so I said this was going to make a comeback. So I showed you guys this book earlier, Empty Smiles. So the first book in that series is Small Spaces, and it's set in the fall. So this is a spooky middle grade series. Like I said, there's 4 books, and I'm just going to show you all of them because you need to read them. So they're set in different seasons. So you have Small Spaces that's set in the fall. Then you have Dead Voices, which is one of my favorites in the series. It's set in the winter. Then the third book is set in the spring, and then the 4th book is set in the summer. So they're all like seasonal. But Small Spaces is the first one. It has spooky scarecrows and a creepy smiling man, and it follows our main characters, Ollie, Coco, and Brian. And they are three friends who end up going on this class field trip, and Ollie has just discovered this book. She rescued a book from a woman who was trying to throw it away. And she read this book called Small Spaces about these brothers and some tragedy that happens with them on this farm. And it just so happens that their class field trip is to this same farm. And so there's a lot of creepy stuff that happens with the smiling man and with creepy scarecrows. This book, when I first read this book, I repeated over and over again that it spooked me, and it absolutely did. Don't read it in the dark. This is good for people, I think, that like books like Goosebumps or maybe that grew up with Goosebumps. I didn't read a ton of Goosebumps, but I think this is like scarier. I don't know. It really scared me. It's set at like this farm with corn mazes and like pumpkin patches and stuff like that. So it's very fall-esque and super spooky. I'm serious. Like, if you've never picked up a middle grade book and you want to try one, I really want everybody to try this because it's just the epitome of fall. It's spooky, especially like I feel like adults that like thrillers and stuff like that. If try spooky middle grade, something. I have all the recommendations, so please just try something. But I love that one.
I think that series, out of all the books that you've ever like recommended, like try this one, Gwen, try this one, Gwen, those have the creepiest covers. And like the antagonist, the smiling man, that creeps me out. I'm sorry. So you have
Yeah.
like the killer clown on one, the fish on one, the
I can tell you.
scarecrow that
So, like, this one is Scarecrows and the Smiling Man. The Smiling Man's in all, but like this one is more paranormal. And so, like, I think that's why I like this one. It's
yeah.
set at like a haunted ski lodge that used to be a girls' school. It's so good. And this one is like kind of like a Loch Ness monster, which it wasn't as scary to me, but it's like a coastal, isolated type setting. And then this one is clowns and dolls. So
Interesting. Like Gabby's
Gabby's
like,
like, no.
absolutely not.
I'm
Absolutely
out.
not.
But it's so creepy. It's so creepy.
Yeah, so I think that's very interesting that the covers are actually that creepy. Like those are scary.
Not me. Not me
Arriving
ordering
Tuesday.
it.
I'm so
Love that.
excited.
I did. I have the first one as well. So yay. I'm hoping to read it during Bookathon. Okay, and next we I wanted to recommend like a TV show or a movie or something you have watched and you love rewatching or something you're looking forward to watching. Do you have any recommendations for people for the spooky season to watch? Fall season?
Mine are always Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus. I watch them every fall. But there is a new show coming out. I don't know when it's coming out or if it's on Hulu or Netflix. I can't remember. It's called The Watcher. It's about like these people who just moved in to this new house and they're like so excited and they get a letter in the mail and the letter basically says like, I know you probably think like you're moving into this nice house, but like I'm obsessed with this house and now I'm obsessed with you. And like all their neighbors are like watching them very weird, so they don't know who it is. Like it sounds so spooky and I'm like excited to watch that when it comes out. But my main two that I watch every year are Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus.
Love Hocus Pocus. I love Halloween Town too, but I haven't watched it in a while. Is it available on like Netflix or?
I don't know.
It's on Disney.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say
okay. Okay. I have Disney Plus, so I'll definitely have to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then-
Small Spaces is the first. Ashley was asking. Yep, it's the first one. See, you're selling people on it. You're selling people on Keisha. See, more people are getting it.
Wait. What Gabby said. Can I comment on what Gabby said? Okay, so this
Yeah.
show that's coming out called The Watcher, I think it's based on the Westfield Watcher, which this book is also, this is the spooky middle grade, big surprise, it's also based on the Westfield Watcher. So when she started describing that, I was like, wait a second, is this the same thing? And I think it is. Oh my gosh.
I just saw it today and I was like, that sounds so
Well,
weird.
you need to read that book. It's a
Yeah.
keeper.
Well, now I gotta buy that one.
Yeah,
I'm on
this
Amazon.
one right here. But I would recommend like not knowing a ton about the Westfield Watcher before reading that because it's going to spoil some of it. But like still, it's really good, and it's not exactly the same. But
Yeah.
That just made me excited.
Also, Jess just brought up, and I didn't forget, but Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out like next week, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, on the
Yeah,
30th.
I
Yeah.
hope it's good, y'all. You're all
I
nervous. I'm
know.
a little nervous because
I know.
I mean it's such a classic.
Yeah.
Okay, like, okay. So my recommendation is a little bit creepier, and I know it came out in 2016, but I just watched it for the first time last week, and it's called The Boy, and it's about a creepy doll. He's just like, I'm out. But it
No.
was so creepy. And it actually, there's a second movie too, and I watched that. It's called Brahms, the Boy 2, or something like that. But in the first one, there's this nanny that's going for a job like out in the country, and it's like this like really nice, like mansiony gothic house or whatever. And it's like an older couple and their son. And when they introduce her to the son for the first time, it's the doll. And she laughs. She's like what? And then this guy that like delivers groceries or whatever is like kind of hints that no, they're being serious, like this is their son. And it just goes from there, and it's so creepy, y'all. I was creeped out, like I don't even know why. But it's called The Boy. It's on Netflix, and they actually have the second one on there too. I don't know if I liked the second one as much, but the first one was like majorly creepy. So if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend that. For like a more wholesome movie, I have to go with When Harry Met Sally. And I'm also a huge fan of Hocus Pocus as well. So
I will not be watching The Boy.
Luna loves
No.
it. She loved The Boy.
I cannot. I don't like scary movies. I can do
Right.
like older, like the OG, like Freddy Krueger and Halloween, and or like the hokey ones like Jeepers Creepers. I think that's hokey, but I could do those. But I cannot do dolls or. Have you ever seen the movie Dead Silence with like the ventriloquist dolls or something? I
I
got like
don't
5 minutes in, jump scared me, and I was like, bye. See you
I
later.
do not. Who likes jump scares? Keisha doesn't know. Gabby, do you like jump scares in movies?
Kind of. I
I
kind of
do
do.
not. I do not.
I'm not a big like scary movie person, but like when I watch them, I have to keep telling myself like this isn't real, and then I just laugh about everything because if I don't, I'm not sleeping. So I'm like sitting there and like something really scary will happen. I'm like, this is so funny, and then I can't sleep. But
Yeah.
jump scares sometimes. It depends on like where I'm at watching it. Like, is it completely dark out? Or, like, it sometimes they're a little too much for me.
I just
Okay.
can't. I just
Yeah,
can't.
Jessie says she loves the jump scares, which I am no. So I was watching the first Friday the 13th movie, and I was watching it in here in the office, and like you could see that the door is right behind me. And I was literally terrified the whole time, even though it's like hokey or whatever. I
Yeah.
was like, my husband would like come in and like start making that noise. And I was like, stop it. I do
No.
not like it. No, sir.
I'm the person though that like I know you can tell by the music when something's coming, and
Yeah.
I'm the person with like the blanket that's like, "Hasn't happened yet?"
Yeah. But even if I know it's coming, I still jump and scream. Like it doesn't matter if I know it's coming or not. And I hate that adrenaline rush. Like it
Yeah.
hurts my heart. So I struggle. But okay. All right. Off the me not liking scary movies. In that vein of like something that makes my heart warm, I'm gonna show the picture for this just in case this like piques anybody's interest. But like it's Good Witch. So this is like a Hallmark TV show, and it's got like 7 seasons. Sorry, I know that's like horrible to try to see that picture, but if you're looking like this is my Gilmore Girls, okay? Like everybody's like, oh, Gilmore Girls. And not that I don't like Gilmore Girls, but I didn't grow up with it. I haven't watched all the seasons. Not that I've watched all the seasons of this either, but Good Witch is my Gilmore Girls. It is a cozy, witchy, like very light, witchy show. And it is so stinking good. Like it's about this woman named Cassie, and she owns this shop called Bell Book and Candle, which already like, and it's like in this small New England town, and she's one of those people that she gets like premonitions or she just like knows things, and so like people in the town trust her. The town also doesn't have like a doctor, and this new guy moves in that's going to be like a romance interest for her. And he is a doctor, but nobody trusts him because she always gives like tea and herbs to help heal people. And he's like, how am I supposed to run my business? And she has a daughter. Her daughter's played by Bailey Madison. And I love Bailey Madison. And so I don't know. There's just so many things. It's such a cozy show. So if you have not heard of Good Witch, definitely recommend it. You can watch it on Netflix. So I've already told Gwen she needs to watch it. So Gabby, if that sounds interesting to you, you should watch it too because it's so cozy. But yeah, another one I want to recommend. So these are not movies, they're shows. But if y'all seen or heard of Ghosts on CBS? Like it's a little sitcom.
No.
Maybe, I'm like, maybe not.
No. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do y'all have Paramount Plus? I think that's what it's on.
Yes,
So
I do.
I
okay.
do not have that.
It was originally a BBC show. I love how every time I type in ghosts on my phone and I press enter, it's like showing me ghosts. I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for. Um, so it's based off of a BBC show, but it's got the girl, I can't remember what her name is, but she played in iZombie. Do y'all know what iZombie is? Or she's played in other
We're
stuff.
like, no.
Okay, but anyways,
Oh,
this is
yes,
yeah.
I know that show.
Yes, it's like a 30-minute sitcom. It is
It's
hilarious. There's
new. It's
yes,
on
it's new.
TV. Well, did they take it off of TV or something?
Well,
No, it's on, I think it's on TV and it's going to be
yeah, it's
after
on
that
CBS.
show. Okay, yeah.
But it returns for season 3. Um September 29th. And I'm so excited because me and my husband love this show. But it's about this couple who moves into this old home. They inherit this old home and they turn it into a B&B, but it's full of ghosts. So like this girl ends up hitting her head and now she can see the ghost. And there's like a Viking ghost. There's a ghost that's a guy from the 90s and he doesn't have pants, like he died without
Oh my
pants.
Okay,
God.
you know how like in that the Thor character or whatever, the
Yeah.
Viking character, how
Yeah.
he like can mess with the lights or whatever. So in my office here, I don't know what it is with the wiring or whatever, but if we have like a little slider kind of thing, and when we turn it on, it like flickers, and he's like, "Cut it out." He pretends like it's the ghost. I'm like, "You're such a
Yeah.
dork."
It's so funny. There's so many different like from different eras. There's ghosts from different eras. So you got like an American Revolution ghost and like a little Boy Scout leader ghost and a
Like a 60s,
yeah.
yeah.
So it is so fun. Like literally it will both make me laugh and cry in each episode because it's heartwarming and it's hilarious. So those are my recommendations.
Nice. Well, before we close out for the evening, are you guys currently reading anything?
Yes, I am. So I just started 2 books. I started the one by John Mars, is it?
Mars, yeah.
Mars. That was my September book club pick. I host a book club with some of my friends, like it's in-person book club. So that was our pick for September. I still have not read it. I know a lot of people are struggling to get through it just because there are so many characters in it. And I know a few people in my book club are listening to it on audio, like audiobook, so they're like getting lost. So don't know if I'll finish that. But then I've been reading so many like spooky books, and although I love that because that's what I want to read, I kind of wanted to throw in like a lighthearted romance. And Caitlin from Pride and Paperback had sent me the cheat sheet. And this has like a football romance in it because the main character plays for the NFL. So I mean, it's football season, so I'm like perfect time to read it. And I'm enjoying it. I'm on page 36. I just started it yesterday. I only read a little bit, but I got through that 36 pages like pretty quickly. It's pretty interesting. It's about this girl, Bree Camden, who she's like best friends with this NFL player, and she has feelings for him, but she doesn't want to tell him because she doesn't want to ruin their relationship. And then basically, like something happens where it says he comes to the rescue and buys her building because she's a dancer, and she's not happy about it. So then she gets really drunk one night and spills some tea to a reporter about her feelings, and then people like start loving it, so they have to pretend to fake date. So it has the fake dating trope in it, and I'm gonna assume they end up like falling in love. I hope, but I don't know. So I just started reading that one, so I'm enjoying that, and that's by Sarah Adams.
Nice. I think Jessie just recently read that one too. I don't know if she finished it, but I know she was reading it. What about you, Keisha? Besides being in the middle of a couple of books, are you currently reading anything?
Yes, and I'm so behind. Like I just started it today, and I'm supposed to be buddy reading this with Elizabeth from Ponytails and Paperbacks. So I am currently reading "Long Live the Pumpkin Queen" by Shea Earnshaw, who I mentioned earlier. This is her most recent release, and it follows Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm not a huge fan of like reading books that are based off of like there's like Disney books and stuff like that. I'm not a huge fan of reading books like that, but I really was interested in reading this one because Shea Earnshaw wrote it. And so, like I said, if you're familiar with The Nightmare Before Christmas by Tim Burton and Henry Selick, you may be familiar with the character of Sally. And this just follows the story like after the show. So it's taking place when Jack and Sally get married, and now Sally is the Pumpkin Queen, whereas Jack is the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, and they are going on their honeymoon. And so far, like that's as far as I've gotten. They're going on their honeymoon and they're going into like Valentine's Town for their honeymoon, which I think is so adorable. But it's supposed to like, I think there's something going on with the different doors and they have to figure out, obviously, like Sally's trying to come into her own and accept like I think it's gonna end up being where Sally's trying to accept herself for how she is because right now she's like a rag doll and now she's like a queen. So she's having trouble seeing herself in that light. So I think that's gonna be kind of a theme in the story. But it's really good so far. I'm only like 30 pages in. I'm a little bit behind. But if you like The Nightmare Before Christmas, there's a new book that goes along with it. So that's what I'm reading.
Nice. I'm currently reading Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Rayborn. I'm really enjoying this one. I don't know, a third of the way through, page 128. And I got it from Book of the Month, obviously. It's very interesting. I didn't quite know what it was going to be about, except for like these like older ladies, like these friends that were all assassins. But I love that it's like flashing back to the time that they were assassins. And then in the current day, they're all retiring. So they're sent by their company on this like cruise. And then they like one of the ladies runs into a guy that she knew from when she was like working with a company. And she's like, he wouldn't be here and not know we were here. So like, why is he here pretending to be one of the crew? The only thing it could be is he's after us. And so they have to like escape and like all of that. It's so fun and it's reading so quickly. And I just already love the characters so much, like seeing them in the past and then seeing them in the, present and stuff like that. So I feel like I'm really getting to know them and their friendship and stuff like that. So really enjoying that one. But I think that concludes the September reading wrap up. I'm so excited for Bookathon and all the stuff we're going to be reading in October.
I know.
It's going to be a great month. We hope.
Yeah.
We hope.
Hopefully we can read more books than we did this month. If not, I'm going to cry.
Exactly. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies. I had so much fun. And this just like put me in the fall spirit, talking about all the fall things. So I love that. But that's all for us. Thank you for watching. And we'll see you guys. Go check out their channels. It's all linked in the description box. Bye, guys.
Bye.